This is Geo Thornton. Welcome back to another session of Cabal Therapy. Today we have a little bit different list for you guys. Still on Manaless Dredge, but we have a few changes. So, first of all, we've brought back Whirlpool Rider, and we've brought back Flayer the Hatebound for a mini combo kill package. It seems to me that we've had a few issues with just racing, and having the option to potentially go off with the Whirlpool Rider package is worth it to me. What this also allows us to do is bring back Creeping Chill and just go for a full-on combo kill without giving up too many card slots. We really are still able to do all of the racing that we were doing. We've cut 2 Once Upon a Time for 1 Shambling Shell and 1 Dread Return. We've moved the Chancellors to the sideboard to bring back Creeping Chill and to start to make room for these Flayers and Whirlpool Riders. We've cut a single Grief. Grief's great. I think it may still be a 4 of. It may replace another Once Upon a Time, but for now, I want to keep the green card for Force of Vigor out of the board. In general, I'm pretty happy with how this deck has played so far. I've played probably 4 leagues, and I've ran into some pretty terrible variants. If we're being honest, I think I've gotten 2 and 3, 1 and 4, and then 2 and 3. And every single one of those leagues, I played against multiple Helm decks. So, just kind of from the rip, one thing that we are cold to is Stealthy Voidwalker. We may cut 1 Dread Return, 1 Fairy Macabre for Sickening Shoal, and actually I think we will do that. Okay, we're back. So what we are working with now is we're working with 2 Sickening Shoal, 2 Force of Wills, and we cut the Dread Return. I like having 3 Fairy Macabre as Graveyard Hate. This gives us 5 pieces of anti-combo, plus the Fairy Macabres. Ashen Raider out of the board for show and tell, or for some of the other matchups where we would need to kill a single permanent. Still have our full suite of Force of Vigors. So for anybody who is relatively new to Manaless Dredge, the combo kill is to Dread Return a Whirlpool Rider, shuffle our hand of ideally 3 to 5 cards into our deck, and then dredge out of our graveyard. So every time that you draw off of Whirlpool Rider, you can replace that draw with a dredge. So that lets us basically put most of, if not our entire deck, into our graveyard, trigger all 4 of our Creeping Chills, trigger all of our Narcomoebas, which trigger the Prize Amalgam. Then we Dread Return a Flayer the Hatebound. He does 4 damage on entering. We can Cabal Therapy to try and take out some form of removal or counter magic. And he'll deal another 5 when he comes back in. And then when these Prize Amalgams come in, they all deal 3 damage. So that just is an insta-kill. 12 plus 12 plus 9. That's significantly more than 20. Things to look at as we go through this league. Do we have enough green cards? We've shaved 1 from the 75, essentially, by cutting 2 Once Upon a Time for a non-green card and then another Shambling Shell. Is 3 Grief worth it? I believe it is. I almost feel like we want the 4th Grief, but I wanted another green card for Force of Vigor, so I added I cut it for a Shambling Shell. Other than that, really all we're looking at is how do we match up against the fair control decks. The combo kill should give us a much more clean kill against them, where we were coming up short. And how do we match up against some of the other combo decks in the format? Are we able to get there against them? And then the final question is, can we dodge Helm? We've had some really bad luck facing Mono Black Helm and Blue Black Helm. It seems like it's only becoming more popular with Orcish Bowmasters. But ideally, we'll play against a bunch of tempo decks and we'll bully them. So I will see you guys in round 1. Now's a good time to say, if you enjoy the content, please give me a like, give me a subscribe. I'm going to continue making this content until I feel that I've fully explored Manaless Dredge as an archetype. Yeah, so I'll see you guys in round 1. Alright, we're here for round 1 against Pernsey. We have a hand with a Dredger, a Grief. We're in pretty good shape. Underground Sea. Thoughtseize. Well, we'll go ahead and fire off this Once Upon a Time. So we're going to be basically time walked here. We'll take this Phantasmagorian for once we're able to discard. Street Wraith was a good draw. Hopefully we don't get Thoughtseized again, and hopefully we're alive to discard. Mountain, so they're a Grixis control deck, most likely. Probably something working with Bowmasters. Grave Troll was a good draw. So we might get punished by a Bowmaster, but we're obviously going to go for the Street Wraith play. We'll pitch Phantasmagorian, and then up there's Bowmasters. So we're taking 2 here. So we're at the end of the post-combat main phase. We'll go ahead and activate Phantaz. We're going to keep Bridge in our hand at first, because we want this trigger to go off before. We don't want to lose the Dredge, or we don't want to lose the Bridge to the Orcish Bowmaster trigger. Oh, I thought that this would trigger. Whenever an opponent draws a card, except the first one they draw on each of their draw steps. So that should have triggered. I think that's a bug. Either way, I think that we're about to win this game. So we have 3 Icarids. We'll get Grief, Street Wraith, Thug, Dread 6. We're just going to crack in for 13, and then we will Cabal Therapy. We may Dread Return a Grave Troll as well. What do we got? Snapcaster Mage. Just soaking up a little bit of damage. That gets our Bridge as well. That's fine. We did 8. We'll Therapy them. Minor Misstep. Okay. So we will Dread Return. The question now becomes, do we want to Dread Return the Grave Troll, or do we want to Dread Return the Street Wraith for an unblockable creature? And honestly, I think that we're going to just go for the 3 unblockable. So I believe that we've won this game. There's not really a whole lot that they can do. Okay, so going into this game, so we're definitely going to cut the combo kill against tempo decks. We don't need it. That Dread Return was nice, but it wasn't like anything super important to us. That makes room for Force of Vigors. We will probably trim a Whirlpool Rider. There we go. And then now we need to make room for the Force of Wills if we want them. And I don't know if we do. I don't think that that matters too much. So we'll just roll with this. So these decks tend to play a mix of... This is a good hand. These decks tend to play a mix of Surgical's type effects and a cage. Being black, it might run Leyline, but this is what we're rolling with. They took the play, and they have pondered. Beating that turn one Thoughtseize felt pretty good. They weren't really able to capitalize on the time walk, so it worked out for us. Here we're just going to pitch Grave Troll and pass. Our opponent seems to know how to play against Dredge. They pretty actively went after our bridges, so they may hold on trying to fight over these dredgers, which is fine. It just turns us into a more grindy game. Baleful Strix is fine. So we're obviously going to hold this Street Wraith. We don't want to lose our only Dredger to Surgical. We hit 2 Dredgers and a Bridge and an Ichrid. Not bad. They may go after the Bridge this turn. There's probably an argument to be had that I should have pitched the Nether Shadow since we have the Thugs, but dredging 6 I think is more important. These thugs are going to wind up being Ichrid fuel, most likely. Okay, they chose to attack. Exile the Thug. Dredge Grave Troll. Always yes. Always yield. Hitting that Phantasmagorian was great. We're just going to attack for 3. They may Snapcaster and block here. That would get one of our bridges, but that's not the end of the world for us. Get a bridge token. Oh, maybe not. Bowmasters, that's fine. Are they going to target their Baleful Strix? They are. I think I'm going to fire off Street Wraith, see if we can get something here. There's a Creeping Chill. Nothing crazy there. So we'll drain them. And we won't get our bridge token, but that's okay. And then we will pitch Nether Shadow just to put it at the bottom of our pile for whatever we Phantasmagorian. That's perfectly fine. We'll happily take 1. Having 2 Phantasmagorian is pretty solid here. What are they playing? Plague Engineer, that's fine as well. Probably gonna name Horror. Spirit. Okay, that means we still get our Icarids. Okay, so we will pitch Imp, Grave Troll, Thug. And it doesn't matter because we're not getting the Nether Shadow back at the moment. If we had a bridge, we obviously would, but it's not a big deal at the moment. Street Wraith, Grief, and then Dread 6. Okay, there's a bridge, there's Price Amalgam. That's pretty solid for us. We are going to go ahead and attack in, I believe. We should probably Cabal Therapy. Let's think for a moment. I don't think there's any real utility to attacking and giving up our second bridge, especially when we can start to overwhelm them with our card advantage. We'll just therapy them. I'm not really sure what I'm going for here. Maybe another Plague Engineer. Kolagon's command doesn't really do that much. Force doesn't matter too much. Snapcaster Mage can ambush Viper us. I think we're fine with that. Past that, I think that we just ship it. No attacks here. Let's get another token. Be happy. That Force of Will almost certainly never matter. I suppose if they play a Graph Digger's Cage, that could be an issue. But at the moment, that Force of Will is looking like it's not going to matter this game particularly. I'm happy to take 2 here. Now that we have a bridge, we can go ahead and activate this Phantasmagorian again. Any order's fine. That gets us a couple of tokens with our Nether Shadows. What does our opponent have? Kolagon's command, killing their Orc army. That's fine. Getting back Baleful Strix. Oh. Nether Shadow doesn't matter now. We'll eat a Grief. We will eat a Thug. And we will likely just eat this top Nether Shadow. Dread 6. Hit another Creeping Chill. That was pretty solid. Now we will go after the Force of Will. Not having another bridge means we can just attack with everything. I think this is just game. They block here and die. They could have a lightning bolt. Nope. All right, we are 1-0. I'll see you guys in round 2. All right, we're back for round 2 against Papa Zappo. They won the die roll, and they have a 60 card deck. All right. We have what looks to be a very good hand. We'll keep. We'll see what they're playing. Our opponent did nothing on their turn. That's actually kind of scary. Does that make them like oops all spells or something? Interesting. I should have done this at the end of the second main phase, but definitely should have done this at the end of the second main phase. I'm not 100% sure what our opponent's doing. Kind of scared of a combo kill of some sort. Thankfully we have a couple of Cabal therapies to work with. Didn't hit any Ichorids, which is kind of surprising. We do have a Dredger. That's good. So we'll attack and then we'll Cabal therapy. We don't have enough creatures to Whirlpool Rider this turn, but we do have that option going into next turn. I don't even know what to name here, if we're being perfectly honest. I'm just going to name Oh, they conceded. I should have just fired off the Balustrade Spy quickly. I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're on some sort of combo deck. I'm going to bring in the Chancellor. I'm going to bring in the Force of Wills. And that probably means we also want to bring in Force of Vigor just to be safe. Past that, honestly, Fairy Macabre might be a better use of our time than Force of Will. So this is a bunch of cards to bring in. We can board out Flayer. We can board out Whirlpool Rider. We can board out one of the Dread Return. I kind of want to keep one in if we're keeping the Chancellors in. Having the option to go for that is pretty solid. We need green cards, so we can't really board out the Once Upon a Times or Shambling Shells. We can trim a couple Prized Amalgams. That still leaves us with 5 that we need to go. Maybe we do cut this Dread Return and just use these strictly as opening hand hate. We'll consider that. Creeping Chills may be a little bit slow in a racing type situation. I think we're the control deck and the beatdown here. That leaves us with 1 cut, and it may be this Dread Return. Maybe it's a single Nether Shadow. This kind of waters our deck down quite a bit by boarding in 11 cards. But we're not losing all that much. I think we roll with this. Oh, they just conceded the match. Not the most exhilarating content, but we are 2-0 against a player who did nothing. All right, we were playing against the Thraben U. We are 2-0, and we have a pretty good hand here. All right, we'll keep. Oh no, this is scary. Oh no. What are we doing here? A Grim Monolith. Oh, okay. Manifold Key. Oh god. um 4 mana. Mystic Forge. Oh dear god. Well, this is going to be an interesting game. The good news is I feel like I can confidently fire off this Once Upon a Time after we discard. And that Once Upon a Time doesn't matter. And we just kind of have to hope that we get a second turn. That's a good start. Mox Opal. 5 mana. Karn the Great Creator. Well, that sucks. Soul Guide Lantern. Tormod Script, that's fine. We'll fire off this Once Upon a Time now. I'll just take Grave Troll. Odds are we're going to dredge once or twice, and from there we will be able to try and force this Tormod Script. But we are in danger. I think that's probably the most important lesson to take from what just happened. Okay. Monolith doesn't matter too much at this point. He has essentially infinite mana. Pithing Needle's fine. So he's gonna name Phantasmagorian. That's okay. Could name Street Wraith, I suppose. Okay, fired off the Tormod Script. He's playing another Karn potentially. Yeah. If he has another piece of graveyard, we're probably in pretty big trouble here. Ensnaring Bridge. That, I think, is still fine. We can still beat the Ensnaring Bridge, thankfully. Like, everything that's happened, we're still alive in this game, somehow. We're just going to pitch a Grave Troll here. We still have our combo. Paradox Engine. Okay. We're just going to F6 here. Let him do his thing. So I don't know how this deck kills. I'm going to be curious to see what happens. We're probably pretty dead. Oh, Aetherflux Reservoir probably is how he kills. Oh god. Cassin Emrakul. Okay. That actually doesn't kill us. Oh, plus Karn on Paradox Engine does, though. We'll let him get there, though. We're pretty dead, but with a Grave Troll in the graveyard, like, we have an okay shot if we get to untap. Not that I really feel like we're going to, but you never know. He moved straight to combat. He's attacking for 15. Or no, Ensnaring Bridge is in play. Ensnaring Bridge. He said, feel free to concede, but Ensnaring Bridge actually... I definitely was prepared to take 15 there. Or 21. So he has to figure out a way to get around his Ensnaring Bridge. If he is able to get rid of that, I will just concede. He mentioned in chat, feel free to concede. I've already done this on camera a few times. But currently we're not dead. So I'm sure that he has a way, but I want to see it. Walking Ballista. Alright. Walking Ballista does it. Alright, so we want against this deck 4 Force of Vigors, absolutely. Do we want anything else is the question. Chancellor seems like it could be okay to just take them off on turn 1. I think we're just cutting Creeping Chill for Force of Vigor. Yeah, I think that's just what we're doing, and we'll roll with this. Force of Will seems decent, actually. Maybe we trim 1 Nether Shadow and 1 Phantasmagorian. He was quick to name Phantasmagorian with the Spithing Needle, so yeah, we'll just roll with that. He probably doesn't really bring anything in. Maybe he has ley lines, but we'll take the draw here. We have 2 Force of Vigors, Street Wraith, and a Golgari Grave Troll, so pretty solid. I'd like another green card so I can pitch that rather than the Force of Vigor to the Force of Vigor, but we will keep. Okay, there's the ley line. He added in a 7. That's a little unfair. I think I'm going to pitch the Grave Troll to the Force of Vigor here. We still have the Thug to dredge with, so I think having the option for another Force of Vigor later is probably pretty important. Particularly against the Artifact combo deck. Not hitting another green card is awkward, but we set him back a little bit here. Okay, Lotus Petal, Mox Opal. We're just going to pitch Thug here and pass. Okay, we hit a Grave Troll. That's pretty solid for us. Here we're going to pitch Prize Amalgam. We need to get board presence. Well, we gotta get what we can where we can get it. So let's go for this. That was a pretty pathetic dredge. I think that would be it for us. Alright. I'll see you guys in round 4. Alright, round 4 against BCS 8995. They're on a 60 card deck. And we have a pretty good hand. Just don't lead on a ley line, please. Alright, we got Chromox. Peer into the Abyss. Okay, we're on We're playing against Storm. Us the mono black Storm deck. Or no, this is Entomb? Echo. That's fine. No Dredger hit. That's kind of awkward. Pitching an Echo. If we don't hit a Dredger, we're going to grief. Okay, we hit Shambling Shell. I'm tempted to still grief just to pick their hand apart a little bit. Dredging 3 is not that exciting. Orcish Bowmat. What is our opponent playing? Interesting. Okay, another Echo is... Oh my god. Wow. Okay. Interesting deck from our opponent. That was very fun to watch. So we're gonna bring in our cards. So cut Creeping Chill. Likely just cut these Griefs, for being honest. Shave 1 Grief, 1 Nether Shadow, 1 Price Amalgam. Submit. Take the draw. I don't anticipate us getting to use these, but our current hand is pretty good. We need to potentially draw a Force of Vigor, depending on what our opponent's got going on. Okay, they kept 7. We'll keep 7. They start with Leyline. Okay, Lotus Petal. Well, this game's not likely to end in us winning. I'm gonna go ahead and discard Whirlpool Rider. It's the least likely card to matter here. Well, we've got our two Force of Vigor targets, which we're gonna draw right here. Nope. So we're probably dead. That second Urza Saga probably does it. Yep, that would probably be it for us. We'll see what they get with the Urza Saga. But they've already got a clock that I don't think we can beat. They got LED, so that means they're probably just gonna wheel, and we are probably just dead. There it is. All right, we're on to round 5. All right, we're here for the last round. We're playing against It's Swifty Time. They have a 60 card deck, and they won the die roll. We have a very good hand if we get to do anything with it. Our last couple games, we've kind of been just brutalized by combos. I think having the Chancellor in the 75 is very good. Oh, are we playing against like a burn deck. Interesting. We're just gonna pitch Grave Troll here. City of Trade. Okay, we're playing against Red Prison. Magus of the Moon. Not my lands. Cycle Street Wraith. We'll go ahead and activate Phantasmagoria here. So we bring in Force of Vigor. I believe that's all that we really bring in here. We could bring in Force of Will. Probably not necessary. And we'll just got Creeping Chill. We'll keep our combo kill for now. Pretty good hand. We will keep it. Starting with Leyline in play. Starting with 2 Leylines in play. We'll go ahead and get these. Alright, now we begin the waiting game. 6 cards in hand. Chromox. Don't Trinisphere me, bro. Rabble Master. Okay, so we're on a pretty truncated clock here. We'll see how this goes. We may already be too far behind. So we go up to 7. Trinisphere's fine at this point. I'd like to draw a Street Wraith, I believe. We didn't draw a Street Wraith, so we'll pitch Grave Troll. So we're taking a bunch of damage here. We basically have to have a really good first dredge if we want to have any shot. And these Icarids already being in our hand, pretty awkward. So we take 8, go to 5. And we need a lot of stuff to go our way here. And nothing went our way. Alright, game 3. I am hesitant to bring in Force of Will. I'm considering Sickening Shoal. I think we just stick with what we've got. We'll take the draw. We have Force and a green card. We have a Thug. We'll keep this. Captain with a Leyline. Okay, Grave Troll was a good pickup. Our opponent's on the slower side of this game, which is pretty good for us. Oof, that was an awkward draw for them, I think. So we'll pitch our Grave Troll, and we'll go from there. Fable of the Mirror Breaker is definitely fine. Cycle our Street Wraith. Activate Phantasmagorian. Activate Alright, we have gone 3-2, and pretty happy with how the deck played. I'll be right back with a synopsis. Alright, so we went 3-2. We lost against a couple of kind of weird combo decks. We played against 3BNU and his Paradox Engine deck. And then we played against a weird mono black wheels deck with Orcish Bowmaster, and that deck absolutely demolished us. That said, very happy with how this deck played. I like having the combo kill. I don't think that it really came up this league, but having that option available to us without giving up too many card slots felt pretty good. Having the extra Shambling Shell, I think, helped a lot because we had 0 games where we were without a Dredger. Chancellor out of the board might be a little bit awkward. That may be a card that we cut in the future moving forward. I like having Chancellor in the 75. I think that it's a very good card against the combo decks. It slows them down by a turn, which gives us enough breathing room to go off. Past that, the 2 Force of Wills might need to become something else. And otherwise, I think we're pretty happy with how this deck played. So a couple other things to think about are, do we want these once upon a times? I think the answer is yes, in this, especially in the combo build. Um, what we would replace them with would likely be the fourth Grief and the fourth Shambling Shell, but I think that just having two green cards, excuse me, having the two green cards is pretty solid. It basically becomes whatever we need when we're trying to reach our combo pieces. Um, yeah, happy with how the deck played, and I will be back with another video later this week. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. If you enjoyed the content, please make sure to like and subscribe. Really helps a lot, and I appreciate all the feedback. Have a good day.